Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freedom in Lockdown. It's a series of conversations with Pakistani liberals, and it is on the page, on the Facebook page, and other social media of FNF Pakistan. Fresh Women Stiftung started working many, many years ago in Pakistan, and one of its initial partners has been a group of these uh, very energetic, very passionate activists from Shehri, the Citizens for a Better Tomorrow from Karachi. And it is a privilege for the foundation that Shehri is still one of the partners. Still, it's a mutual learning experience for the foundation and for Shehri. And I'm so very honored and pleased that our friend from Shehri, from Karachi, Amber Alibhai, who's the General Secretary of Shehri, has joined us for the session today. Amber, Assalamu alaikum, a very good evening and welcome to the session.
Assalamu alaikum, Tauseeq. Thank you for having me.
Amber, as you call yourself as an activist, so very, very passionate activist. And whenever I listen to you, whenever I see your work, whenever I follow the work of Shehri, I really feel happy that we have liberal thinkers like yourselves in the fraternity in Pakistan. So first of all, really proud of your work. Secondly, tell me, what did you want to be as a child, as a teenager? I want to be an activist. मैं बड़े होके activist बनूंगी. Was it like that?
No, I think that since a child, the options for me were very limited. My mother's a doctor, so she always wanted that I should take up her profession. But I could not, I did not like the timings that she kept, and she was never around. Whenever we had to do anything, she was missing. And I said, this isn't for me. So before my parents knew what was happening, in the 9th grade, I quietly dropped physics. And physics was a prerequisite. And they found out much later, but it was too late.
Criminal offense. Yes. Okay. So if you want to rewind, if you are given a chance again, what would you want to study in your academics? What would you want to be?
I think that if I had a chance to rewind, I'd like to be a farmer. I'd like to do agriculture, and I would have loved to have my own fruit orchards, and I would like to, that's what my passion would be, is to grow and plant, and I enjoy doing that.
Interesting answer. I love it. I'm a very, very plants and trees person. So we have a connection there. Okay, Amber, tell me about, it has been more than about how many years? It was 1990 that you got to know of the foundation and foundation got to know of you? When was that? 1990, I guess.
Well, I joined Shehri. I came to Shehri. I had a personal issue. And, 33 years ago, Karachi was going through a great political turmoil. Yeah. And people's, personal rights, their right to life and all was being very much thwarted by the political situation in our city. And when we were planning to build our own home and put down our roots, in our neighborhood, the commercialization was taking place, which was illegal. And in that context, I found out about Shehri, and I came to them to seek some assistance and guidance on, because at that time, there was no concept of public interest litigation and private citizens getting together and filing litigation for their rights. And I read about Shehri in one of our, it was a monthly magazine called The Herald. There was a very good article about Shehri, which Humaira Rahman and Naveed had put up. And they are one of the founding members. And, I happened to call them and they said, come along. And I found like-minded people like myself. And I also I started giving a little of my time because I had a young family then. And the time suited me. So that's how I got involved. And I looked into my own issue, found a solution, and stayed back. And like I always said, Shehri and the problems of the city just suck you in.
I know. So tell me about this relationship that Shehri has with with FNF. It's about more than 30 years. And I was telling my friends, the viewers, right in the beginning, that Shehri is one of the oldest partners that the foundation has in South Asia, especially in Pakistan. So tell me about this relationship. Has it become stronger and stronger over the years, as they all say, or how has been, or has the flight been turbulent sometimes as well?
No, we haven't had a turbulent relationship, and I think that it has, like Anwar Saab has always said, and we always look upon the foundation and the relationship with Shehri as a family. And our work and our relationship has evolved according to the circumstances of our city, the circumstances that the foundation and the organization itself is going through. And I think that it has been a great learning journey for all of us, because for the volunteers who came to Shehri, we came from all different walks of life and
True.
different political and professional backgrounds, and even social backgrounds, and our exposure was very different. And like, our members were from had also experienced the breakup of Pakistan, of the East and the West Wing. So they came with that background. Then we had people from Balochistan. We've had people who were town planners, architects. So everybody came with a different pain.
Yeah.
And we had this platform to discuss our issues. And I think the learning and the training that the foundation gave us was to take all our energies and channel them. And
True.
first we were like firefighters, like we would be going after this and going after this, and then they made us realize that we've got to channel all our energy and resources into things which would be more fruitful, more constructive, and more sustainable. And I think over time we have evolved,
Hmm.
and our work has also evolved. And I think the beauty of our relationship is that they have never imposed things on upon us. They
Hmm.
have taken our issues of our country, our city, and they have worked around it. And we are very fortunate that our issues are similar to their fundamental principles,
Hmm.
and so therefore we have been able to continue with this journey.
What personally you think has the foundation contributed in Amber Alibhai in becoming what you are today?
I think it has made me more determined. And I mean, it for me as a person, I think it has been like it has if I have got a new identity to what my identity was. My identity is very different, and I have, I think, matured in my thinking and the way I approach things.
Hmm.
And I think that maturity, I think, comes with age, comes with situations which you have faced. And the foundation has also played a very positive role in it. And they have, I would say, made us aware. They have trained us, and they have brought their partners from around the world, and who have shared their experiences, which are fortunately very similar in other parts of the world, in countries like as
True.
ours.
True.
And that we are not the only ones, and we are still better in many things from many other countries and societies. But
Right.
yes, they have held our hand, and I hope that we have also contributed in their learning experience.
Absolutely. That it's the synergies are there, and the experience is mutual. Amber, tell me, you just mentioned that the core principles of liberalism and the problems of a cities like Karachi, you personally think the solutions are there in those principles. Can you give me one or two examples of to the last 30 years that how do you think a liberal solution has helped your city or your work or Sherry's work in realizing maybe a small dream into reality?
Tauseeq, I think that the most important thing is the civic education, the importance of civic education, the importance of being taking ownership of being a responsible citizen, what it entails, what it does. And it is just these few words. And for us, if we have to work as, we have to be a democracy, like we always say, unless we are not civic minded, unless we all do not participate, each and every person does not participate, we cannot make the change. And that can only come about by awareness, and the awareness of the power within ourselves,
Mhm.
the ability to change our situation, the to be able to question, not to fear, and to stand up and not be cowed down by the mafias that run our systems and are entrenched, and to document, to digitize, and to put things together, small things, little things, documentation. I think a very powerful tool, which I always tell the foundation that we need to continue to do more, is our very simple newsletter. We print it in 3 languages. Unfortunately, it's only comes out twice a year now because of financial constraints. But that has no editorial, what would I say, limitations. And we can print anything and everything that we want. And it reaches so many people, people who will not access a newspaper because it is expensive. Our newsletter is free.
True. Okay, so are you hopeful with the youth of Pakistan?
Not really. Some yes, some no. I think that what is missing out is that when we were in school, in colleges, the civic education that we were being given, the books that were truthful, they were not mutilated. I don't see young people interested in that anymore. I think that perhaps even your social media has given them such a wide canvas that they no longer have the time or the interest to learn about their own country and its history and their responsibilities as young people who are going to take over tomorrow. I find that a little worrisome. I see that everywhere.
So, what's the solution?
I think that we need to somehow engage them more. We have to perhaps use the medias that they are in touch with to make them aware of our history. There is a lot of the cynicism that our generation has. We have sort of passed it down to our younger people, and they doubt everything. And because they doubt everything, how
With
can
doubt
you make
comes
them?
with doubt
How
comes
can
the
you make
question.
them believe? They doubt everything.
Okay, all right. Amber, you just mentioned mafias, and I know the history of Sherry. Sherry and the colleagues have been threatened many a times by certain bad guys and mafias, and you lost some colleagues as well during that. Has the journey been fearsome or fearful also for you? And how, as a woman, have you handled those mafias, and your colleagues have handled those mafias?
Yes, we lost Nisar Baloch. He died. It's going to be 8 years to him on the 9th of October. Naved, one of our founder members, took a bullet to his mouth, and he's had lifelong, health issues. And other than that, we have been threatened. Unfortunately, our very dear colleague Roland, he and his wife, they were, they belonged to a minority community. Feel he had much future in this country. So we've lost him. Derek and Berna,
Yeah.
we've lost Berna because she was part of the education program and she was threatened. And so she had to, overnight leave Pakistan. And yes, we've all had it. I've had it. I think that I have a very, um, my father was very strong and he always made me, as a child, tell me that you please don't come home with a fight. You have to fight it outside, because I went to a mixed school. I remember the boys used to beat me up or some things. And once I complained, and he says, no, Amber, You resolve it at school. I'm not here to resolve your problems.
Did you
And
beat
I've
them
had
back?
a very supportive family.
Did you beat the boys back?
My husband, no, I didn't beat them, but I had to speak to the principal and my teacher, and not violent, but definitely resolve matters in school rather than carrying the tail home.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my father, my brother, my husband, my children, they have been very supportive. And I think very supportive has also been all the help that the people who work with me. And most important, I think the greatest gift that Shehri has is Rehan and Sarwar,
Oh,
our
absolutely.
two
Absolutely.
team members who work with us. And if it wasn't for their honesty, their integrity, I don't think Shehri would be here for what it is today. So we owe a great debt to them, great debt to them. I mean, they work beyond hours. They do all the things that nobody else will do. They do it.
I know. I know. No, they are the great friends and great inspirational stories, both of them, for young
Yes.
development sector activists and people who need to see change in society, in communities. I think Sarwar and Rehan are two examples to be quoted. But tell me, uh, the foundation's academy in Gummersbach. A lot of colleagues from Shehri have gone there, and the basic idea of making liberal minds connect with each other in Gummersbach, the liberal networking in Gummersbach. What is your take on that structure? I'm asking this question for a particular reason because once you and I were discussing something, and you said that. Not only liberal interaction should be there. So you have a perspective towards that. I'd like you to share that with us.
Yes, I think that this is a very important component of exposure that the foundation gives to its members. But I think that what we also need to take is that it's all very well and good if the converted are, meeting. But we need to also in that, place, bring in people perhaps who need a little more insight into our thought process, and have a like a meeting place that we can all dialogue and meet rather than be guns pointed and blazing all the time. And these kind of academic programs, and just sitting down together with people from all over the world, and having a cup of tea with them and discussing with them breaks the ice a lot. And it is important that we also include people from our disenfranchised thinking process.
Mhm. Do you think, okay, that's from the foundation's perspective, and especially with the perspective of Gulmasbach and the academy there. But now coming to the Pakistani society, do you think our society is ready for a dialogue, the dialogue between these very uh, very polar segments of society, thinking wise, intellectually? We are a very polar society. Are we ready to have a dialogue? Do we see that dialogue is the solution?
Yes, Tauseeq, I do. And I see that every day in my personal life, in my professional life. For the past 7, 8 years, I have started, I have joined my husband in their family business. And we have many young men and women who work with us, and they come from all segments of society. And I do not preach my thought process with them, but what they see me is that how I approach a situation, what my thought process is, time management, how work should be done, what are your work ethics, what are your responsibilities. I make sure that they know that they have to. I, as an employer, must make sure that their EOBI and their SESI is paid up. I have to walk the talk in my professional work. And when you say that we need to have a dialogue, you do not need to dialogue all the time that, on this matter, this is my point of view. And what is your point of view? No, you have to live your point of view. You have to walk your point of view. And if you want somebody to come forward to understand, you've got to, they've got to see me in my persona and in my work doing what I am saying. Only then can we,
True.
only then can I melt somebody to make them understand my viewpoint.
Pakistan, as they say, has many problems. If Amber Alibhai gets a magic wand, what is one thing about this country, about this society, that you would want to change overnight with a magic wand?
I think I'd like to give equality of living space. I'd like to give those people who live in all those poor areas the right to a park, to a right to a garden, and for them to recreate. We live in tension. There's no water, there's no electricity, their wages are not enough, the children don't have school. But our people do not have the space and the air to have a peaceful mind. The women are locked up all day. If they are coming from a conservative place, the young girls don't have places to play. The boys don't have place to, put their energies out. I would give them, an equal, clean living space.
And using that magic wand, what is one personal thing about Amber that you would like to change?
My temper. I'm very short tempered. The older I'm getting, I cannot tolerate nonsense. And I have no more patience with people telling me stories.
Interesting, interesting. Do you recall a Pakistan of 70s and 80s and maybe until 90s? Do you think or do you not that our tolerance levels towards religious minorities the scale was much higher, and with time our tolerance and acceptance levels towards religious minorities is going down?
No, I think it was always there. It was always there. Tauseeq, my mother is a Christian, and I come from a multi-faith. My parents had an
Yeah,
interfaith marriage,
yeah, I know.
and but they lived very happily. They were married for 65 years. My father passed away last year, so I have cousins who are Catholics, who are Protestants, and my own husband belongs to the Shia community. And anybody asks me what I am, I said, I'm a Pakistani first. And on our dining table, we have people from near and dear family from all religion. But I have first-hand knowledge that each one of them have suffered prejudice, they have suffered intolerance, and they have suffered uh, not being equal, not being treated equally in places of jobs and all. So, no, this is very ingrained in our society. And I think that for us to get out of it would be a great mountain of upheaval. It'll be very, very difficult for us because, and I think that can only come about, I think, if we, yes, to be civic educated, we need to be more um, uh, equal in our thinking. But I've seen the prejudice from educated people to educated people.
True, true. I agree. I agree, and you're absolutely right. That's really, really very unfortunate. And sometimes people say that Pakistan's biggest problem is not the problem, but lack of not education, but lack of education. The biggest problem is lack of education. But sometimes instances like these that you're quoting make me believe that the problem is somewhere else. It's not just lack of education. So, but you're absolutely right. In the end, how do you, since as we were talking, Shehri is one of the oldest partners of FNF Pakistan. What would you like to say to the fraternity, the international liberal fraternity, with a 30-year-long bonding with the foundation? Any last comment or things that you would like to share for the foundation?
I think I'd like to thank the foundation and all its partners, all the people who have come from the foundation to Pakistan and given their time. Most of all, Anwar Saab, we both aged together. And I really admire the generosity and the spirit of the foundation and the German people who continue to give to us. And they don't know that how their money is being spent. And I think that one of the main things at Shehri we always respect and admire the fact is that somebody else's tax money is coming to us and we are using it. And so we have a great burden and a great responsibility that it is not misused.
True.
And we really thank them, and we hope that we stay on the path, and we the trust that you have reposed in us with your money and your all your facilities, we don't falter, and we want to thank you for that.
Amber, what a great pleasure it has been, like always, to talk to you, to converse with you. Thank you very much. This is in lockdown. I and the colleagues at the foundation, Brigitte Lam and Anwar Saab and Rabia, we thought of this idea of conversing with professionals and brains like yourself in the lockdown situation, and we call it Freedom in Lockdown. And you are our first guest today, and I'm sure the coming 10 days are going to unfold our friends like yourselves. But you were the first drop of the rain. So thank you very much for taking out time all the way from Karachi.
Thank you, Tauseeq. And lockdown has given me an opportunity to go back to my plants. And of course, I hope to meet all my other partners from the foundation. And best of luck to all of us. And we have to keep on striving. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amber. All the best. Great future ahead. All the best. Khuda Hafiz. Bye-bye. Every night at 9 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time, I will be unfolding a new guest, a partner, a friend, a liberal friend of the fraternity of the French-German Stiftung, French-German Foundation, Pakistan. And of course, if you have liked this conversation, please share it with other friends, other people, young activists who you think will be able to learn something from Amber's conversation and her brain thought. Thank you very much. Have a great evening or the day ahead. See you later. Bye-bye.